So this podcast was inspired. I was checking my email the other day and I got an update on some new legislation that was being proposed in Florida. And one of those was to allow massage therapists to be able to actually do an assessment. I was like, holy shit, they're not even allowed to do assessments in Florida. And it really got me thinking. This whole idea, and I talk about it all the time, is massage therapists aren't being taken seriously as healthcare providers. And there's a lot of factors that go into that. So in this podcast, I broke down 3 factors that really cause massage therapists to not be taken seriously as a healthcare provider. Because at the end of the day, I truly do believe in massage therapists. I think that they have the best skills and the best hands in the world because people really do need quality hands-on soft tissue treatment. But for some reason, the world just wants to kick massage therapists when they're down, shut them down, tell them they're non-essential, and don't even let them get to the point where they can figure out what's going on with their clients. So get a little bit of ranty in this episode, but it's something where it should hit you in the right place and help you understand that you are better. You are a viable healthcare provider, but there's a lot of factors that are out of your control that are keeping you from being recognized in the public, in the medical world as a true healthcare provider. So I hope you enjoy the show. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Soft Tissue Revolution podcast. Dr. Matt Maggio here. Thanks for stopping by and checking out the podcast. I want to get right into it. Big thing I've been saying probably for the last 6 months is I want massage therapists to be taken seriously as a healthcare provider. Because at the end of the day, when people are injured and in pain, they need access to quality hands-on soft tissue treatment. And the best people in the world at that are massage therapists. But the problem is they don't believe in themselves. They always get, put down, looked down by other professions, physical therapists, chiropractors, orthopedic surgeons, things like that. It's like you're a secondary treatment on top of all that. That's bullshit. That's complete bullshit. I think that the best type of treatment in the entire world is quality hands-on soft tissue treatment. And the best people in the world at that are massage therapists. But the problem is there's a lot of people out there that don't take massage therapists seriously as a healthcare provider. And there's a lot of people to blame. There's a lot just kind of going on there. So in this podcast, what I want to do is really break down why massage therapists aren't looked at as a viable healthcare option, looked more as like a service, a luxury, a secondary component. A lot of chiropractors keep massage therapists in their office to help their treatments hold better. This is coming from a chiropractor who doesn't believe in adjustments at all. They don't need to be adjusted. They need your soft tissue treatment. And there's a reason that the chiropractors have you into that office because you're making them look better, but you get to that like subservient role. And I don't want you to be subservient to any other practitioners, especially physical therapists and chiropractors, and sure as shit not to orthopedic surgeons, because all they want to do is pump people full of injections, give them pain pills, and do surgeries that only make things worse. We're in a pain pill epidemic for a reason because people aren't getting access to good quality hands-on soft tissue treatment. That's why I started the Soft Tissue Revolution. That's why you're here listening, because you want to be part of that. You want to make that switch. My most popular podcast of all time, the idea of, are you a service or a solutions provider? And I went through this during COVID as well, of the idea of why massage therapy was deemed non-essential. It's a really good one to go back and listen to and give that, because at the end of the day, it's the profession's own damn fault. And there's a lot of people to blame for that. So why aren't massage therapists being taken seriously as a healthcare provider? I have 3 of them. Number 1, the schools. The schools aren't that great. I mean, look at this. At the end of the day, you go to school for 6 months. They're really just trying to teach you how to pass the boards, do the bare minimum and things like that. And a lot of people, when they get out of school, they're like, well, I put my time in, I put my effort in, I deserve this, I'm ready to go, let's take on the world. Like, that shit doesn't happen. Nobody cares. And you didn't learn really anything that you truly can use in the world. So if you're someone out there that's like just went to school and then you just get started and you haven't invested in more training, more technique, communication, learning, anatomy, all that on top of your 6 months, like, you're probably not going to be successful, and no one's going to really take you seriously because the schools are kind of run by people that really aren't out doing it in the real world. You know, a lot of times they say those that teach can't really do it. And that's not a knock on teachers or anything like that. But if people were really killing it and really doing it, they'd be out there in their business, in their practice, and would be doing that. I remember this when I was in chiropractic school, like our clinicians would come in and they'd give us all this advice on like business and treatment and all that. And they're not even in fucking practice anymore. They never did it. I'm like, why would I listen to somebody like this? But that's what happens is the schools don't really prepare you. They do the bare minimum enough where you can get your certification, you can pass your boards, but you have to bring something of value to the rest of the world and really be able to go in there and take it to the next level, regardless of what the schools taught you. That's going to make a big change and a big difference in your overall approach, because the schools, they didn't prepare you. And this is why these schools are like falling out left and right, because they don't really have anything of true value. You're not ready to go where you are. Number 2, I say legislation and laws, right? Legislation and laws, like the boards, the rules out there, like they shut massage down really fucking quick right away. There was no even consideration of anything. They're just like, yep, we're going to shut down massage. And they call them parlors. They start using words like parlors and masseuse and all that. I talked about that on the last podcast, the degrading nature of being called a masseuse. And they shut you down because they don't respect you. But you know who's to blame? Your schools, your boards that you pay your dues to, or your legislation or your lobbyist groups. Like if they're not educating people properly about the true benefits of massage, like it doesn't matter. It got me thinking the other day. So I got an email, when was it? The other day. And it was talking about some of the legislation down in Florida that were up for bills and things like that. And one of the bills was that massage therapists can actually start assessing and doing assessments. And the other part was that they can use their knee for treatment. That by itself is fucking stupid, but whatever. I have a podcast where I talk about that, where using your elbow is not a good method for treatment. It's the same shit. Like, don't use your knee. But the part about the assessment really got me. And I have this all the time where people are like, well, legally we're not allowed to diagnose. We didn't learn in school. We don't have to do it. So I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to get right into the treatment. I'm like, you're fucking lazy and your client deserves better. Just because you're not allowed to legally diagnose, you still need to know what's wrong with your client and what's wrong with them, because you can't fix a problem if you don't know what it is in the first place. And this comes back there where you're taught these bad habits in school. And you kind of were taught to be lazy. And that's what happened. They're like, just do this. I do this treatment. I do this technique, blah, 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 blah. We don't really need to know what's wrong with the client. And a lot of these technique gurus are doing the same shit. At the end of the day, you have to be able to critically think and figure out what's fully going on with your client. Because if you can't, you're not going to be able to solve that problem. This goes back to the idea. Are you a service or solutions provider? If you're a service provider, you're just going through the fucking motions. You're just having them sit down, fill out a bullshit intake form and not really going there. But I was like, man, they're not even allowed to assess in Florida. I'm like, man, how is this in different states? But that goes to show it. Like, of course they don't take you fucking serious. They don't even let you do an assessment. Think about that. So yeah, schools, legislation, and laws. Another reason that massage therapists aren't taken seriously as a healthcare provider. And I hope some of this kind of like hits you a little bit and you're like, man, he's kind of being an asshole. I'm not being an asshole. I'm just telling the truth. Like, I think you all could be true healthcare providers, but you got a lot of things stacked up against you. And there's a lot of things that you can do to get yourself in a better place and not get fucked over, because that's what happened. That's what happened when COVID hit. They fucked you over. They shut you down and they don't respect you. They don't even let you do assessments. Like, that's crazy. Last one, why massage therapists aren't being taken. I took some notes on this last one. I wrote down too many quacks, energy healers, and crystals, and a lot of bullshit. They're out there all the time. And we know this. And I look at these people and they're like, oh, I do energy healing. Like, I'm like, what the fuck is energy healing? What does that even mean? You know what? If you like that and you think it's good for you, that's fine. But no one's going to fucking take you seriously when you're rubbing crystals together. You know, you got a unicorn out back with a leprechaun riding it. And you're like, oh, your aura, and I'm this person and I'm this master of whatever. No one gives a fuck. Seriously, that might sound a little bit ranty, but it's true. The same shit happens in chiropractic as well. Like I said, I don't practice traditional chiropractic at all. I don't think it does anything. The adjustments really don't do anything. There's a lot of quacks in there too. So what happens is chiropractic and like massage, they get labeled as like holistic and like alternative health. It's like, because all these quacks are out there. These energy healers are these people. I'm like, what the fuck is an energy healer? It's like, I'm like, I don't understand. They're like, I'm going to get your energy and your aura and all this shit. Like, if you do that, that's fine, but you're probably not listening to my podcast. If you made it this far, I bet you're not going to listen again, which is totally fine. But I'm in the business of actually finding out what's wrong with somebody, doing a results-driven type of treatment, functional improvements, real results. We're solution providers. We're fixing injuries and pain. We're not messing with, like, of course, the mind is a very powerful thing, but if you're injured in pain, you got to fix the problem too. And then, maybe the mind will get better too. But there's all these crazy quacks out there that do it. And we all just kind of sit by and we're like, whatever, they're fine. But you know what? They're loud. They're giving a bad name to the profession as a whole and contributing to that as well. And you're not saying anything because you're just like, whatever, it's not my problem. Well, it's become your problem. And these people have a louder voice and then they give everybody a bad reputation. Same thing happens in the chiropractic field with some of those crazy fuckers out there too. Man, I'm swearing like crazy, but that's okay. That's why I have to hit the explicit button. But at the end of the day, I want you to be taken seriously as a healthcare provider. I want people to look at massage therapy as a viable option. One of the first things that they should do when they're injured and in pain, not just like, oh, go try this or whatever. It's like, no, you need to go to this person who is a soft tissue specialist. And what we train and what I say all the time is, in one of my most popular videos, is why I believe in massage therapists more than they do. Because they struggle. You have a lot of limiting beliefs. You have inferiority complexes. You haven't done as much training as you should. There's a lot of things out there, but there's a big need for people that want to be fixed, specifically by conservative medicine. Like people that are going to chiropractors, going to physical therapy, trying to avoid surgery. They need to be like, you know what? I'm going to start with a soft tissue specialist, a massage therapist who is really good at what they do. And that's what we train. That's what we teach in our methods. And we want you to become part of that journey as well. We have free training in the system and everything like that. It can really help you get into a better place, get your business to a next place. Apparently, as I'm recording this, they're mowing the lawn outside, but I will try to wrap this up quick. But at the end of the day, I want you to be taken seriously as that healthcare provider. And if you can be taken serious as that healthcare provider, you can help more people. You can actually start making the money that you deserve. You can start helping everybody out there that needs your help. I said help a lot there, but you can also just take your business and your life to the next level and really start enjoying what you do and become that solutions provider. But if this one hits you in the right way, where you're like, man, he's right. We aren't being taken seriously. And you got a lot of people to blame, your legislation, your schools, all the crazy fuckers out there. Like, make a stand, decide who you want to be, decide who you want to help, and be like, I am a soft tissue injury specialist. This is what I do. Own that. You got to start by changing your identity and believing in yourself, because if you can start believing in yourself, you can help more people and make a real change and a real impact in the world. So that's all I got for the podcast today. I appreciate you guys listening. The downloads we're getting, people joining the revolution. If you haven't joined, there's a link for the Facebook group. I post on YouTube. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. I'm all over the place. I am omnipresent. But next episode, what I decided to do was I'm going to actually make this a 2-part series. On the next one, I'm going to talk about 3 tactics for massage therapists to be taken seriously as a healthcare provider. This will really help you grow, help you get to another level, and just start helping more people. Because at the end of the day, we need to help more people. We got to get people off of pain pills. We got to keep them away from the surgeons. We got to keep them away from pharmaceutical industries, because if we don't, they're going to be in big trouble and we're going to have bigger problems. So that's all I got. Appreciate you guys listening, and I will see you on the next one. Bye. Thanks so much for listening to the show. If you're a massage therapist and you want to learn more about our new methods that allow you to easily double your income without working any harder or getting burnout, we have some free resources for you. 1, join our Facebook group, The Soft Tissue Revolution. 2, subscribe to our YouTube channel. 3, request our free training series. 4, leave us a 5-star review and share this podcast with anyone else you know it can help. Links to all our channels and free training are in the show notes.